The Get Down is brought to you by Digital Music Pool. Digital Music Pool is the ultimate record pool for professional DJs looking for the hottest tracks and exclusive hits updated daily in an easy-to-use platform. You can find exclusive edits from myself, Cream, Adam B., Andrew Marks, Angelo the Kid, Armin Averu, Chumpian, Dan FX, Castra, Pat C, and Samus J only on DMP. And we're giving you a chance to try their service for just $9.99 for the first month. All you have to do is click the link in the show notes or on the Get Down or Cream Instagram pages, create an account, and enter the promo code CREAM at checkout for your discounted month. DMP is my go-to record pool for new and exclusive music to play in my sets. So become a member for just $9.99 for the first month with the code CREAM and check it out for yourself. Click the link in the show notes or on the Get Down or Cream Instagram pages to sign up now. You will not be disappointed. If you love listening to the Get Down, you will love the video version of our show on YouTube even more. With all new audio and video upgrades, we've taken the show to the next level. On YouTube, you get to see our facial expressions, hand gestures, and real passion we have for this industry and for helping you grow your DJ business. Click the link in the show notes or on the Get Down Instagram page to watch the podcast now or search Get Down DJs on YouTube. We would greatly appreciate if you subscribe to our channel, like, and comment any questions you might have that we could bring up on the show. What's up, guys? Welcome to the 120th episode of The Get Down, brought to you by Digital Music Pool. My name's Cream.
GaryW here.
Take two, man. We've had a tough little run here on technical difficulties in the last few episodes, but
it's been rough, but you know what? You live and you learn.
All good.
XLR's going bad, and this and that and the other thing. Just whatever. It's make things happen.
We recently had one of our TikToks. If you guys don't follow us on social, please go follow us at the Get Down Podcast, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. But we had a TikTok go viral. We had like 180,000 views. And, you know, with that, all the hate and the hate comments and all of it.
Gotta love it. Gotta love the hate comments. I'm here for it.
So with that, you know, we got over 1,000 followers on TikTok, and we're able to go live. So we are live on TikTok, trying something new.
Something we will try and probably do every single podcast moving forward. We'll switch your view up. Cream will be do it one week. I'll do it another week, just to get you a little behind the scenes footage of kind of what it looks like raw before we put it out, and what it looks like singularly, because it looks completely different than what our YouTube production looks like.
Something else that might be cool would to be like go live on YouTube, where people can literally watch us do this live. And then when we have a technical difficulty, they get to be there for it.
Phenomenal. But they would have to go through some of this twice. But yeah, it's something I do want to set up. I do want to set up, like, have us start rolling pre like intro. And do like a little Patreon thing where any paid Patreon subscribers would get to be a little pre and post with us, which I think it'll be a lot of fun. And then this way you get a lot of interaction with the audience. I'd like to have a little more interaction with the audience live. I think that would be super dope. Just a little different wrinkle for the pod would be nice.
So we're approaching mid-year here, and you and I have been having a lot of conversations around our mid-year like goals review. We're going to spend a couple days where we kind of see what we've accomplished this year and reset what we want to do for the rest of the year. And I think that's really important, because sometimes your goals change, right? You might come into the year thinking one thing, and you knock out 2, 3, 4, 5 of those goals in the first couple months, and you need to create new goals. Or maybe some of the things that you've done have really blown up and your brand is blown up, and you need to completely change your focus and realign with where you are currently in the market, kind of thing, and where you are in your career. And it's so important. And I think this goes into, you know, what we do as DJs and what we do as far as the venues that align with our goals and the people and places that align with our goals.
I think that coming into the year, you have this plan set in place. And as we learned in about the first 3 weeks of the year, that plan kind of blew up, and the thought process behind what we wanted to do moving forward for the year changed drastically. I'm not shocked if that has happened to guys in their DJ life, where you wanted to play a venue and maybe 3 weeks in, you got to play this goal venue that you set forth in late November. Because, if you listen to this podcast, like we're setting up goals for the following year come sometime in November. And then you're trying to set all the things in motion to make those things happen come December, January. Let's say you get to the end of January and, you knocked off this one goal spot that you want, this one goal venue that you want to go DJ, and you get there and you don't vibe with management. You don't vibe with the people that work there. You don't vibe with the genre that they're looking to play. Maybe they switch genres while you've been playing there for a couple weeks. And now it's like, okay, well, I succeeded here, but now I'm moving on from this goal venue. And now I have to go and seek out a new goal venue or seek out some new things to do. And I think that's where the 6-month review comes in big. And I think that's also something to reflect on, and not to think that, hey, maybe that was a failure. Maybe this is just a learning experience. This is a growing process. I feel like we need to always take any experience at venues or with owners or with staff as a we can get mad about it or upset about it or whatever it might be or get too high on it. But I think that it's always important to take a step back and realize that it's all a learning experience.
Yeah. And this is such an interesting conversation. As DJs, sometimes we take it to heart, right? Let's say if we lose a venue, management changes, like you said, any of those factors that might change and you lose a place, especially if it's a place that you've really, really wanted to play, right? And you've really wanted to work with, or some of the people that you look up to are playing there and you want to be on their level and you think this venue can help you get there. If we lose venues, guys, think of it more so as an opportunity. Because there are only so many Friday and Saturday night gigs that you can DJ in a given month or a given year. And even if you lose one that you think is your best one or one of the better venues that you play, it opens up time for you to now go play somewhere else that maybe is even bigger and better than the place that you just lost. So think about it like that, and think about it like, I now have this venue on my resume, and let's use that to get to the next level.
It can often open a door, too, because in a lot of the markets that we've been in and out of that aren't our market, and our market was like this prior to us kind of creating what we've created, things are really cutthroat to where if you play one venue, you can't play another. So oftentimes, if you lose like a pretty big booking, that other competitor venue knows that. They know that straight away. And guess who you should be contacting first is that competitor venue. Because oftentimes they will take you in with open arms, because it's like, okay, let's see why you were there. Let's see what you can bring to our place.
I'll bring up something that happened to me years ago. So we were both residents at a place called West 5 Supper Club in Hoboken. At the time, there was a number of nightclubs in this market. And being that we were the residents, we really couldn't play any of the other venues. And when West 5 closed, it afforded me the opportunity to now go play some of these other places who didn't say, Kareem, you can't go play the other venues, and allowed me to go be a bigger DJ because I was playing all the nightclubs in the market, And if West 5 never closed, maybe I would have just stayed there and only played that place and been content and never grew, And I think a lot of times we as DJs get stuck, right? We think that we've achieved this certain level and that's it. Like we can stop working, but no matter what, if you want to grow your DJ business and you want to become the artist, a lot of DJs we talk to want to become artists, right? They want to play not just the big local shows, but they want to travel and play nationally and play festivals and make music and eventually play internationally, we can't just think about like the best venue in our market as the end all be all, or the top 5 venues in our market. It's in the grand scheme of things, our local markets are tiny little specks on the spectrum of all the venues in the world and all the places that you could potentially play. And I think that's really how you need to look at it. Look at the DJs from your market or artists from your market who have outgrown the market and moved on. Many times they're not living here anymore or not playing here as much anymore because they've outgrown the space, you know? And they've held themselves to a higher standard of like, I'm not going to just do what these local places want me to do. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep raising my rates. I'm going to keep making music, and you continue growing that way.
Yeah, that's a huge risk to take, to step out of your market, right? It takes a lot of balls, it takes a lot of confidence, and it takes a lot of belief in yourself to do that. You have to have all of those things in place and going well for you in order to then step out of your market and be able to succeed elsewhere. It's not for everybody, right? You and I both know it's not for everybody. But if you do want to take that next step and be the bigger artist, you need to go and do that stuff. On a local level, it sometimes becomes a little more difficult, or people think it's more difficult to leave a residency and step out of a residency because I feel like a lot of times at residencies you establish this like family type environment, right, with all of your coworkers and everything. I hear this a lot with like bartenders, where it's like, oh, I'm not making money here, but I love everybody that works there. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like, you really have to look out for yourself first, right? It's great to love everybody that you work with, 1,000%. But you also need to look out for yourself first and make sure that you're doing what you need to do in order to be successful, whether that be financially or whether that be within the talent space. You know, I think that gets overlooked. And sometimes I check in with yourself every 6 months at residencies and make sure that you're not staying stagnant make sure that you're not staying stagnant for all those wrong reasons. I just think that's that little thing that gets overlooked a lot. We get comfortable because of the people that are around us.
Yeah, it's a great point.
I've been hearing it a lot recently. Because we talked about nightlife. Nightlife is dying, and when we spoke about that, I'm speaking about that not only from a DJ perspective, but from knowing so many different bartenders in so many different spaces around our tri-state area. And there's a lot of bartenders not making any money right now, and that's how I know that there's not money coming across the bars in our area. And that's a part of why we were saying nightlife is dead. It's something that we did not highlight on that episode, but I'm going to highlight it now. And that's part of that. And in talking to a lot of these people, they're afraid to leave their places because they're like, well, we get along with the staff and I get along with the management and the ownership's good. That's great. But if you make $80 in 8 hours, $10 an hour ain't fucking cutting it. That's not paying it's not paying rent or your mortgage or whatever it might be. So, you know, I think then I translated that over to our guys and us being DJs and being like, how many times that we were like, speaking of West 5, you brought up West 5, and it's like how comfortable we were with all of those people that we worked with and why that it was such like a place and time because of the people, not so much the place.
Right.
Right. And I think that we can get stuck in a rut. You can find yourself 5 years in at a place where your career has gone nowhere because everybody's stuck in this kind of time bubble.
You know what else happens sometimes too? As a younger DJ or just as a DJ that's trying to grow, right? If you have venues that are on your bucket list and you're like fighting and you're networking and you're kicking into and you're working hard to get into and break into those venues, and it takes you a long time. And then you finally get in and you're, you know, doing everything you can to be the best DJ you can be so you can keep your job there, right? And you can go from the Friday to Saturday DJ or get a residency or get more bookings. But I think sometimes, too, it just doesn't do it for you after a while anymore, right? Like the way, things that are important to you as the DJ sometimes just aren't the same things aren't important to you anymore. Or the way you held a certain place on a pedestal, maybe you just don't do that anymore. And it like releases you to go just do what you do and be you and grow that way.
You can outgrow a space. Like I said, it could be very quick or it can take time. And a lot of times, you can have successful places that have longevity in your market. They have their ways that they do things, right? There's a reason why that they are successful. Their ownership will usually be stuck in their ways, right? And they do the same thing year in and year out. As long as people are coming through that door, they don't need to change anything. Now, you as a growing DJ, as a younger DJ, somebody who has year after year, you're gaining a little more experience. You are now having new perspectives on what this industry looks like because you have to go play different places in order to gain experience, right? So you're bringing all of these experiences back to that, pedestal venue. And now you step into the pedestal venue and you're like, oh, well, they should be doing this, and this differently because you're seeing that be successful at other places that you're playing at. So they're stuck in your ways, and then you're also gaining more knowledge and more experience. So that's where that clash sometimes comes in. And you're going, that's going.
You just outgrow places.
You just outgrow it. And that's what happens.
Outgrow places. And you should be, guys, you guys should be outgrowing places. You should be outgrowing places. If you're not, that means you're not growing at all, I don't care what venue it is. If you're not outgrowing places, it means you're not growing.
Yeah. You have to check, like I said before, you have to check in on yourself, and we used to say once a year, and I think we've gotten to the point where it's like every 6 months, like because of the pace of this business and this industry that you really should be checking in every 6 months with yourself and make sure that you're doing the right things.
Yeah, and not only that, it's because we oftentimes are working, we're working a couple months ahead as well. We're working a quarter ahead as far as our own DJ calendars. And obviously for Get Down, it's completely different. But if you're not working at least 1 month ahead on your bookings, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah,
the goal is to be more than 1 month booked out,
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
So yeah.
I've been personally feeling this way about certain venues lately, and I think it's partly because I have been lucky to go and play some bigger shows and travel around, and just the hospitality that you get from places outside of your market, especially, but even within our market, like Downtown Social does an incredible job. Chris over there does an unbelievable job, like with the hospitality for the DJs, but just seeing how certain venues treat DJs, it's like really disheartening, and it really turns me off to when I leave the market and just see how much love there is. Like, it's crazy. Even from customers and fans, when they know that you're an out-of-town act, sometimes it's like the amount of love, they don't even know who I am, but they're showing love and they're having a good time. They're on the rail and they want to like high-five me and talk, and like living that and seeing that, you come back and it's like, man, like these local places are cool. They're great. I appreciate them. I love them. But like, this is not where I need to be, or this is not the goal. This is not the top of the mountain.
The Chris thing is really enlightening because he comes from a different market. He grew up in Jersey, but he made his chops in nightlife in a different market. So he's bringing that hospitality and Southern hospitality to New York City, which is phenomenal. And we don't see it at any other venues. We've harped on this before, and I don't want to harp on it too much because we have said that, listen, travel gigs are travel gigs. Go do it, enjoy it, love the fact that you're a number one. You're going to be, coddled and taken care of. And then when you come home, well, be ready to come back to reality. We've said this to guys who have gone out and traveled and come back, and it's like, well, all right, you're not going to make $500 an hour here. Sorry, this is your home market. It's just not what happens in your home market. You'll make that good money when you go travel. And and you'll get treated like royalty. I wish that we could change the perspective within the market of, listen, I'm not saying roll out the red carpet every week. You don't have to do that. Just at least acknowledge, the DJ when they walk in and say hi and have a conversation and see what they want to drink, or if they do drink or they want water, whatever it might be. That should be part of management's job, and it's just not done. But they're in your fucking DJ booth when the music goes off.
Yeah.
Or if there's a malfunction somewhere, right? And they want to get in your ass about shit. Like, so why not be involved on both sides of the fence? Be there when it's good, and then you can be there also when it's bad. Oh my God, I lost you again, Kareem. I can't believe it. There you go. Just mess with that. I think that's all it is. We're fine.
Should I try another microphone?
That's all you got to do. You just got to mess with the XLR when if something happens. So,
man, major technical difficulties today. That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just more around that point. It's really true, and I think that might be part of it. Is just there is the lack of hospitality towards the DJ by many, not all, because there are other venues that do a great job as well, but the overwhelming amount of venues that just seem to not give a shit about the DJs, it's really disheartening, and they want our name and our customers and our skills, but they don't want to show the love on the other end where, just little things like tagging the DJ on posts, and there's just so many little things that could be done. And maybe that's just us complaining as DJs because we've been through it, But
I think also it's a good thing to think about, guys. Well, what can I do to change that, right? Because I'm thinking about this as we sit here and talk about it. What can we do to teach the management what should be or what can be done to be a little more hospitable toward the DJ? Are we being prima donnas right now? Probably. Look at us. We deserve more. But when you do go into a venue and they're like, well, what does that DJ like to drink? I'm going to make sure he's got a bucket of 3 or 4 of those beers or seltzers or whatever it might be in his booth. So when he shows up, he's ready to rock. It is so minute. That's nothing. It costs you nothing to do. And it makes the talent feel so much better about it, about themselves. But yeah, I mean, in time, it happens. People become jaded, and people become angry and cranky, and it can happen to younger DJs at a quicker rate. The more experience that you gain, I think it's important to not get too upset about it. Right? Don't get upset about maybe the lack of love that's being shown, or whether the kind of the wear starts to kind of come off at venues. Well, it's time to then move on to the next place. Yeah. That's it.
I just changed my mic, guys. Hopefully this works a little better. But yeah, we are experienced DJs. We've been through it all. We've seen it all. We've played every style of venue. I think it's a hard industry, right? This is not an easy industry. This is not for the weak of heart. This is not for the people who are overly emotional and sensitive. It's just not. It's a cutthroat business. And we've been around for a long time. We've dealt with all the bullshit under the sun. You name it, it's happened to us, right? And I think sometimes because of that, we can sometimes sound like the prima donnas or complain a little bit about the hospitality, whereas some of the younger DJs, they're just happy to be there, man. I remember, I would have DJ'd for free just because I loved it and I wanted the opportunity. I wanted to show what I could do. I wanted to feel that feeling of DJing for a crowd. And in now it's there's almost a 0% chance that I'm DJing for free ever, anywhere.
Yeah.
And that might sound crazy, but it just is what it is at this point.
It's become business.
Yeah, this is our business.
This is business, right? And
we love what we do.
It doesn't start out like that obviously, it doesn't start out like that for anyone. Not one person has walked into a DJ booth and being like, well, this is my DJ career. Maybe Avicii, because he blew up in his bedroom and all of a sudden he's got thrown on the decks because he was like, had the biggest song out in the world, right? Like, there are certain outliers, so don't take me too literal out there, guys. It is a rare occurrence that you step in a DJ booth and that is all of a sudden that is your career, and that's what you have to do for a living. It's very, very rare. What happens in time, though, is that hobby does become a living, and then you have to deal with it as such. You have to deal with it as being your business, the way you're making your money, and then that's where the bitching and complaining comes in. Because then you sound like every other person that goes...
Any artist, any creative, right? We all started doing what we do because we love the actual art.
Right.
Whether it's, DJing, dancing, singing, art, whatever it is, we started this because we love it. And maybe we got it to a point where we were lucky enough to start making money doing this. And we were able to make this our full-time career. All of the, huge steps, right, in the process of a creative. And now at the tail end, it's like, how do we still find the joy while also dealing with the business side that can sometimes be really disheartening, and hard and stressful. And I think it's a balance I've been struggling with personally. It's a hard balance. Like, listen, I've been the worst lately. Gary, he doesn't have to say it. I know I've been the worst lately. And it's because I've been dealing with this right now.
You know what? It's kind of funny because you said something a little while ago. You're like, I will probably never DJ for free ever again. But maybe there's a party that you can throw to. I'm just saying generally, anybody who's sick of kind of the day-to-day of what they do. Maybe you find your residency that you can go hit their rooftop or do something on like a Sunday for them where maybe they pay you nominally and you can do something that you're passionate about. And maybe that kind of gets those creative juices flowing again for DJing, that love for DJing again, where it's not so much, well, this is Friday night or Saturday night at premier venue. You have to play what is going to be played at the venue to make them money. Maybe it's, okay, you guys are kind of dead on your rooftop on a Sunday, or you have a decent crowd. You mind if I came in and played some records, as long as they're records that I want to play? And you kind of have that discussion with management, and they let you do that. And it's like, holy shit, I walked away, and that was a ton of fun. I loved doing that. I might only made $200 or $250 for doing it, but I have this itch to go and find places that I can play that way. I think that's a really great way to stay involved and engaged.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. Or start your own thing, right?
Start your own thing, but you can start them at places that are familiar with you. They have trust in you, and they have trust that you're not going to run this like crazy, you're going to play some crazy ass music in a venue that doesn't fit that. So you establish this party with somebody who you already know. This way you have a little more creative freedom.
Maybe I just need to get my decks set up in the house again and be able to just fuck around after a set or before a set. I used to love doing that when I had a room dedicated to DJing, but living in a one-bedroom apartment, it's harder to do that.
Yeah.
But I think that could be another thing where it's like, I haven't had decks in my house in a while. It'd be nice to have something to, maybe test some records, or a lot of times I would turn my CDJs on and I just have a stick plugged in, and where I thought I was just going to go test and edit or whatever, hear a song I just downloaded and see how it sounds on speakers, and it would be 45 minutes later of me just playing records back and forth.
Right. There are ways.
Do miss that. I miss that a ton, to be quite honest.
I think for you personally, there are a lot of things. The only time that you're really DJing right now is when you're working, and when you're working, it's usually a higher intensity, higher pressure situation, because those are the gigs that you're playing currently, right? There is I play a bunch of rooftop gigs or play a basement gig that I can get really creative in. I've been playing a lot of creative spaces for myself recently, where all of my sets are very different in genre, and it keeps me fresh. I like that.
Yeah.
But that's very personal to me, and I don't mind, playing for 100 people. That doesn't matter to me. It's just perspective.
I'm like a drug addict for the energy.
Right.
I am. It's very hard for me to DJ when I don't have that instant feedback gratification from a crowd that's telling me, yes, this is the music we want to hear, or no.
But you don't get fired up when like you play a couple records that like you love, like you personally love. And like, I don't care. Like, okay, for example, I'm thinking I'm playing in front of 100 people on this rooftop, and I played, oh my gosh, I forgot. I'm forgetting which. There was like 2 or 3 songs I played. And I'm like, I can't play this shit anywhere. And I played it, and like a few people were bobbing their head. And they were vibing to it, but I was like so energetic about my DJ set because I'm like, this is great. Like I'm actually getting to play this music that I love to play. Well, I mean, I don't feel like that about half the stuff I'm playing on Fridays and Saturday nights.
Right.
It's the same thing on Latin night. Like I play certain genres that I just really, really get into. And that's when I really love DJing, is when I have those opportunities.
Yeah, I guess I haven't really had that since my Thursday party kind of ended, because that was my outlet to be able to do literally whatever I wanted. I could play dubstep, or I could play whatever, throwback hip hop. I could literally whatever I wanted, which was really fun. And I had a whole crowd that got down with that. The other thing too, Gary, you know, like, we can complain, or we can kind of put our grievances out into the world about stuff that's happening in the industry. But as a younger DJ, you should want to play for free. You should take every opportunity you can get to show what you can do. You should show up and hop on and do a back-to-back with your friend DJs that you're going to see. All of that stuff is super, super, super important. And it does keep you fresh. And it does help you build a name. And just because me or Gary might say something on the contrary to that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing it if you're listening. I think that's really important too.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're speaking from an overall business perspective in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But you know, we've said this before, like it's how you find your sound is being able to play as much as possible.
And how we kind of started this conversation around like me talking about juggling the business part and then the actual creative part. I think what's been happening for me lately is the business part is just like so overwhelming my creative part. It's making me less happy in what we're doing, you know?
Right.
I need that creative part to come back up. I have an original song coming out soon. I just put out the Cream and Friends edit pack. I need more of that and less of business meeting with X person or phone call with this person to talk about something that's going to help grow our business. Like,
right.
For me, I know that I need to make those scales more even, because that creative stuff is the reason why I got into this, right? It's not to run the business. It's to be the creative, to put out the music, to come up with the marketing plans to help promote something that we're doing or that I'm doing. That's what gets my juices flowing, you know? That's what I love about this industry.
Yeah. That's why you got into it. I just completely understand it. Completely understand it.
Therapy out here. It's therapy sessions 101 for me.
So you posed a really great question. A lot of times we come up with our ideas on the fly and we email them to our business email. And I opened the email one day and it says, "What does successful mean to you?" And I'm thinking about everything that we just talked about, right? And like the progression of being a young DJ to being an experienced DJ, to the ups and the downs, and oh my God, I feel like I'm so successful because I landed this big gig, this pinnacle gig. And then like we just talked about, like you grow out of that space, and now success means something else to you. So what does success mean to you right now, currently, as you sit?
I don't know. This is a hard question. Currently,
you could deflect.
Currently today, what does success mean to me? I would say success means I'm putting out music, whether originals, remixes, or mashups, consistently, monthly, weekly. I think success means continual growth to other markets, to venues that I want to play, whether in or out of market. I think increasing rates, all of those things currently would be success. And that's just for DJ Kareem. I think for Get Down, it's a completely different question, but
I mean, yeah. I mean, I agree with those things for sure.
I think another thing, honestly, like just being happy, I think is something that would be success. I'd look at as successful. You know, if I wake up every day and I'm excited and I'm happy about what I'm doing, the money part is somewhat important because obviously we all have bills to pay and we have to survive and we all want to live comfortably. I think I've come to terms with I don't need to be uber rich to be happy or successful. I just need to have enough money that I don't have to worry about money, you know?
Right. Yeah.
I think we always want more, but I think the happiness part of it is the part that I'm really searching for. And I think the happiness part would be, you know, all that stuff and that I talked about being successful as a DJ, but then also being able to balance time with my girlfriend, time with the kids, time with my family and my core group of good friends and being able to go do things with them.
Yeah, that is it.
I think that's it.
That's it.
I don't need to have 30 gigs in a month anymore. I don't need to do that anymore. I've done that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the balance that I have. I know we always make fun of it because it's 8 gigs in a weekend and it happens probably twice a month, but like there's still 2 full weeks off and weekends off. Like I'm going into this weekend with no gigs. It's great. I'm going to get to go out and explore nightlife in downtown Orlando. And that's fantastic. You know, it's something that I haven't done in a long time. I've never done here. I mean, successful to me is everything that you said. And if you want to get specific, it's, you know, making sure that everybody in Get Down's happy with their gigs, right? And happy with the management and happy with the way we're doing things. And hopefully we don't come off too harsh in a way that they won't approach us about certain things. And I'm just thinking about like today, stuff definitely came off harsh 1 or 2 times because it was such a rough day. And it's like sometimes you're going to get, you know, snappy, but hopefully that doesn't deject anybody into not wanting to work with us or not being able to communicate certain things with us.
Yeah, when it comes to Get Down, like the happiness is surely and success is surely the success of our DJs and seeing them reach their goals. That makes me really happy and makes me feel like we're successful as a business with Get Down.
Right, and I feel like that's how
it's not the number of gigs we're booking or any of that shit. It's like, all right, these DJs they just raised up a level or they just put out music or they're supported with this huge artist. Like, I love that shit.
I love the text message that's like, hey, you know what? Thanks, guys. I was able to put a down payment on a house. Like, I love that. Like, you know what? I appreciate you guys helping me out in booking me. And it's really made a difference in my life financially. That's great. Awesome. You don't always have to be headlining, you know, whatever venue. Like it can be those wins too, those life wins. That's the stuff that gets me going because you know what? 99% of the people that we book are probably not going to be, you know, Armin or Tiesto or Martin Garrix or, you know, name the DJ or producer.
Yeah, totally agree.
Right? It's you know, are you financially stable? Did you learn how to become financially stable because of the grind and the gigs? And did you become to learn to be a little more outgoing? Maybe you were a little like, you know, in your own shell and like, you know, have you grown into the person you are because of the types of gigs that you got or the work experience that you had? Like that's all the stuff that matters. I think that gets overlooked day in and day out. I think by you and I think it gets overlooked by everybody in general in this industry. We're all jaded and we all want to become this big act and this big artist and this traveling person. And it's that's not the percentage of it. That's not always the thing.
I'm thinking more too, like realistically successful to me is the fact that I've been able to turn something that I love doing, which is making music and producing and DJing, and turn that into a whatever many year career it's been. And this is my living. And I left a job that I absolutely despised to do something that I loved. And there was no greater feeling than being able to like live and create a life just from DJing.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And any of you guys, like your successes can be anything. It can be, I booked my first nightclub gig, or I booked my first headliner show, or I released my first track. All that stuff at one point I would have said was my success, you know?
Right. It's unique. It's unique because I moved down here and the first like 15 people I met when I told them like, I'm a full-time DJ and I book DJs too. But what they hear is I'm a DJ full-time, right? And every single one of them was like, I don't know anybody who's a full-time DJ. That doesn't exist here. You know, and they're not in the industry, and they're not nightlife people. All these people, they're either people that I work with at my part-time job or friends that I've met in my community. But like, that's not normal. You know, it's just not normal. And if you're able to do that and you're able to pay your bills and establish some kind of savings and do the things that make you comfortable financially, all doing that on your DJ dime is a damn good success.
Hell yeah.
So,
hell yeah.
Anyway, any music stuff you want to talk about? To lighten the load here. We've had some serious conversation over the last 30 minutes.
Oh, man, I'm trying to think of some music stuff. Something that I found really interesting, I was prepping for music last week, and me and UFOso were talking about various genres and trading some music, and he's like, have you heard this new sped-up Jersey club that's like 160 BPM?
Just keeps getting quicker.
It's not like 135 or 140, and he was like, I can't even listen to 140. It sounds slow to me now because I've been listening to 160.
Jeez. And that's what happens. Your ear gets kind of trained at this quicker pace.
But it was kind of crazy. He sent me a couple tracks and I listened to it and I'm like, these are pretty dope. The quality of recording wasn't the best on some of them, but
it's kind of raw still.
Yeah.
Now, do you think this is born out of Jersey Club becoming mainstream? So now, like the real Jersey Club heads are like, well, Jersey Club's mainstream, so now we got to do something different. And like, here it is. Like, I could see that very much. Like, you know, when you're hardcore passionate about a genre and then it becomes mainstream, and you're like, well, fuck that genre. We're gonna do something different with it, and like something always cool is born out of that.
I feel like
that Bad Bunny track, I was shocked by the way. I know that it went back and forth.
BPMs are raising across the board.
They are. We've been talking about this.
Where are you?
I know that the Bad Bunny track was talked about in the Discord. I finally came across one of the record pools, and I got to listen to it recently, maybe like a week ago.
I mean, it's been going off. It went off from the day I downloaded it.
It's good, but I feel like it's a lazy Jersey track. Like it's a lazy attempt at Jersey Club. That's exactly what I thought as I was listening to it. It's like I got this guy who produced it. I'm going to eat my words here when it's some big Jersey club producer. I was going to say like, oh, I got this guy who's a Jersey club producer or is not a Jersey club producer, and he produced Jersey Club, and it's just kind of half-assed and lazy. Because it kind of sounded like it was missing some real elements to provide real energy from what our experience of Jersey Club is. Now, was it a good track? Yeah, I liked it, and I'll play it for sure. But I think that it could use a little punch. And I feel like the Doug Spins of the world would agree with me and UFOso.
We've been talking about having like the All Jersey Club podcast and getting some of our guys that are into it. And you know, we have connections to some of the goats in Jersey, Jersey producers who kind of created the whole genre. I think that'd be such a dope episode. I popped in on Lil Bruh. He had his Jersey Club party, I think 2 weeks ago that I stopped in. I got to listen to some tracks there and meet some people, which was dope. I wish I could have hung out the whole night, to be quite honest, because, you know, I love Jersey Club. I didn't get into it as early as a lot of our guys did, but I do love it. I play a ton of it. Some of our DJs like, Cream, I heard you played like 40% Jersey Club. I was probably just feeling myself that night.
I know Doug Spin had like a radio show back in the day, which was cool. So shout out to Doug on that. He's always educating us on New Jersey Club and kind of what he's feeling. That's what he's creating currently.
Yeah, I can't find the producer of that.
It's
It might have
interesting.
been Mag, who's like a Puerto Rico producer, but I have to confirm that. We'll check it out.
Yeah.
What about you? Anything in music world that's been interesting or inspiring to you?
You know what I really liked is that Kate Renata Amin album. Did you hear that?
I heard some of the tracks. I downloaded a couple.
Amin, right?
I don't know how
Been
to
out forever. Been out forever and ever.
Yeah.
I like that album a lot. It's unique. It's different. It's got that electronica / little hip hop / R&B vibe to it. It's what I was playing at one of our newer venues a lot recently. So I went and grabbed that whole album. I think that's innovative and cool and different. And that's kind of been on rotation here a little bit in the last 2 weeks.
I might listen to that album in the gym now that you brought it up today.
Not very energetic where maybe it's going to get you going in the gym, but
so maybe a car ride. Maybe
it's a car ride.
I'm a big Kate Renata fan. I used to really be into Kate Renata kind of back in the day when he first started making music. I always thought it was really interesting, but I'm always open to listening to his stuff. So
yeah, loving that. So guys, if you haven't checked that out, definitely go check that out.
Actually, I have one other music thing. This has been a debate in our Discord, or not even a debate, just a conversation. But have you been playing the John Summit "Where You Are" track in clubs?
I play the original. Yeah,
you play the original. Does it work for you?
No,
it doesn't work for you.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, like they've been saying. Some of the guys in our chat have been saying that it's not been working. Jibs actually hit us up this morning. Was like, "Yo, John Summit, Where You Are worked last night." He was so happy. We were all happy. It was like,
I think that track needs to be set up so perfectly.
You just need you need a club version. You can't play the original.
Yeah, it's hard for me not to because I love it so much. Like I think it's such a well-made song. Like it's so well made that like it's hard for me to go away from that. I just respect the song too much, to a fault, obviously. And the times that it has worked for me has been in smaller spaces with smaller crowds that I know that like genre is going to go off.
Right.
And you have to set it up perfectly and you have to come out of it perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that, like setting up the tracks that we really want to play, sandwiching them. But
I think I followed that with like Dead Mouse Strobe. Because like that one, I was like, okay, this went off. The original went off of that. I was like, I can get away with Dead Mouse Strobe because it's kind of like down that same path.
It's funny you brought up Strobe though, because I made a personal like club edit of Strobe so that I could play it in a club setting.
Yeah,
I have a club edit of Where You Are that I've been playing for the club, and I just think that lends better, despite the fact that I love the true original version as well. But I was thinking, like, the editor in my head is thinking, well, maybe I create an edit that's the club edit in the beginning, so it goes right into the chorus, into the build and drop.
Yep.
And then if it works and you want to keep playing the actual like breakdown and vocal part, you can then have that for the second break and build and drop. And that could be like, if the first half worked, we can play the whole thing type thing.
That's your long version, yeah.
I'm going to make that, actually. So check it out. DMP, Cream, Where You Are, club edit, coming soon.
This week. Awesome. I think it's a good place to wrap today. Good conversation.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I don't want people to listen to this and say, you know, Cream's complaining or Gary's complaining. I think we want to kind of invigorate you guys who are listening to stay passionate and stay interested and still create, right? Be the artist that you want to be, and be the artist that this is why you started, right? Is to put out music and create music and play music for people. Be excited about that. Stay excited about that.
And I think always keeping in mind, you know, maybe being a pioneer of positive DJ culture, whether it be with management, ownership, or within your group of your DJ crew or just your DJ community as a whole. I think that's really important. And being a positive pioneer in that way is a great way to be happy and stay relevant.
Yeah, I think it's a mindset too. You know, I talk about going in and playing some of these rooms that are slower, and like, yeah, it's not what I want to be doing. But if you keep that positive attitude and you find like that groups of people, it makes you happier. Number one, it makes you a better DJ. Number two, and it could also help you create more fans, right? Like,
yep.
So I don't know. Stay positive. Yeah. That's a great way to finish. I love that.
Yep, for sure.
All right, guys, thanks for listening to this episode of The Get Down. TikTok, I see you. I see all the comments. We're going to check it out and respond to you guys after we finish recording. But we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Peace, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Get Down podcast. If you enjoy our show and find the topics entertaining or helpful in any way, we would greatly appreciate if you could subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you listen to it. We want to help more DJs, and subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show is the best way for us to do that. We appreciate all the love so far. Thanks for listening, guys.